All right, three more and we're done. No glitches. This all might get put up before noon, it turns out, which is great. The current time is 10:06. I've been at it since before 8. Hopefully, we're done shortly. Three more. 18. The height of a golf ball in the air can be modeled by the equation h equals negative 32 t squared plus 96 t, where h is the height, and in feet of the ball after t seconds. So it says A, how long was the ball in the air? You remember, if you're looking at this, whenever we graph this, it's going to give us a negative shaped parabola. This is our starting point, and this is our ending point. So when it says how long was the ball in the air, where are we looking? Time is on the x-axis. We don't care about the negative world because we're talking about a real world problem. It says golf ball. That's a real thing. So we're going to focus in the real world. We're also going to ignore this stuff down here. So really, we're looking for that point right there when y is equal to 0. So before I do any math or anything like that, I'm going to go straight over to my y equals area, and I'm going to type this in, negative 32 x squared plus 96 x again. And then I'm going to graph it. Or actually, I'm just going to go ahead and check a table. I see a 0 here, but that's when x is equal to 0. So that means that my graph doesn't look like this anymore. It looks like this, where it goes through the origin and then it comes back out somewhere. But is that my ending point? No. That's still my starting point because it's on the y-axis. It's when x is equal to 0. Okay? So I'm looking for the next 0. Oh, there it is. So at 1, 2, 3 is when the next one equals 0. That is my ending point. So for A, how long was the ball in the air? The ball was in the air for 3 seconds. B, what was the maximum height of the ball? Where does that occur? I know that the maximum height occurs at the vertex. Okay? I know that that is height because y measures the height, and that is the highest it went was the vertex. And I know, based on this information, that my vertex occurs between 1 and 2. It has to be equal distance between 1 and 2, so I know that it occurs at 1.5 seconds. But that's not the information I need. I want to gather that h. So I'm going to input 1.5 in for my t. So I have negative 32 times 1.5 squared plus 96 times 1.5. Go back to my calculator here and type in negative 32, open parentheses, 1.5, close them, square it. Then I'm going to add 96 parentheses 1.5 to that. I'm going to hit enter, and that is at 72. So B, my answer is 72 feet in the air. And the reason I know it's feet is because it said so in the problem. C, when will the ball reach its maximum height? Well, we just went over that. That's when is the x-axis, so it's the x value of that maximum height. And we know that it has to happen equal distances between each of these points because that's the axis of symmetry. So I know, without even doing any math, that it has to happen in between 0 and 3. 0 and 3. So I add those two together, 0 plus 3. And I find that that is 3. And then I divide it by 2 to find out what is that value. And it's at 1.5. That's the number that I was dealing with up here. So at 1.5 seconds. Okay? That's what our answers are going to be. At 3 seconds, the ball hits the ground. The whole thing's over at 3 seconds when the ball hits the ground. Its highest point is at the vertex at 72 feet. When does that occur? At 1.5 seconds. That's the x value. So B is the y value of the vertex, and C is the x value of the vertex. Number 19. Number 19 says the area of a rectangle shown below is 2x squared minus x minus 15. And square units. What is the width of the rectangle? And then it gives me a rectangle, and it says this is 2x plus 5. Well, I can do this one of two ways. I can do this long division to find out what is the other factor. 2x plus 5 divided by 2x squared minus x minus 15. And I know that 2x can go into 2x squared x times. I multiply. and then I subtract. So that cancels out. And negative x minus positive 5x is going to give me negative 6x minus 15. This drops. How many times can 2x go into negative 6x? Negative 3 times. And then multiply again, negative 6x. Negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. Subtract, and we get a 0. This is my width, x minus 3. If I forgot how to do that, I could just simply factor this. One of my answers will be 2x plus 5. The other answer will be my width. Let's try it that way. I have 2x squared minus x minus 15. I look to see if my a is positive. It is. Hooray. I look to see if I have the right order. I do. Hooray. I look to see if I can do a greatest common factor. I can't. Hooray. Moving on. I do a times c, which gives me negative 30. This tells me that one of them will be negative and one of them will be positive. My b tells me that all my big values will be negative. So I have 1 and 30. I have 2 and 15. I have 3 and 10. And I have 5 and 6. Okay. Now, which one is going to give me a negative 1x? Well, it's going to be 5 and negative 6. So I have 2x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 15. I group them and do greatest common factor. The greatest common factor here is going to be x, and I'm left with 2x plus 5. The greatest common factor here must be a negative because I can't have a front negative. Both of these have a 3. So I divide each of these by a 3, or negative 3, and I get positive 2x plus 5. These are the same, so I know I'm right. This is one factor, which is what they gave us. And this is my other factor. X minus 3 is my width. Okay, so I could have done it either way. All right, moving on. Number 20. Number 20. Identify the roots of the function, and then it says x, f of x. And it says negative 4, negative 5, negative 3, 0, negative 1, 4, 0, 3, and 1, 0. If you recall, the roots, the solutions, the x-intercepts, I always forget the fourth one. The solutions, the roots, the x-intercepts, the zeros. That's what we talked about in the video. Excuse me. Those occur right here. What's true right here? Y is equal to 0. So I'm looking for when y is equal to 0. Remember, f of x is another way of saying y. So identify the roots of this function. It's going to be at negative 3, 0, and 1, 0. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. We are done. And I will post a key. There you have it. Have a wonderful day.